Hey guys, I am the Comics Kid 2099, and I am here to talk about
Missed opportunities.
If you've never seen me do one of these videos before, basically I talk about either a movie or a book or a comic book or a TV show, and I say this is what they did, but this is what they should have done. Today I am going to be talking about the Man of Steel movie that came out earlier this year. If you haven't seen it, naturally there are going to be some spoilers here. So with the Man of Steel movie that we got, if you haven't seen it and you don't care about spoilers, let me really quickly tell you kind of the gist of the movie we got. You have Clark Kent, he's trying to find his place in the world, he starts using his powers to help people. Lois Lane starts investigating, she finds out who he is, and then this alien invasion comes, he stops the alien invasion, and then at the very end of the movie, these two kind of fall in love, they get kissy with each other, and then Clark goes to join the Daily Planet. End of the movie. I had a couple of problems with this. I didn't hate the movie as much as a lot of people did, and I mean a lot of people really hated that movie. The main thing I didn't care for was that Clark and Lois kind of get into their relationship in this movie. I didn't think that these two had spent nearly enough time with each other on screen to have a believable romance. I don't think Lois even knows anything about Clark other than he's from Smallville, Kansas, and he has superpowers. She doesn't know his middle name. She doesn't know what his favorite color is or what his favorite movie is. I feel like these two don't have anything to base a relationship on. In the movie itself, I did not like that these two had a relationship. But before the movie came out, I did not want these two to have a relationship yet. I am not against the idea of Clark and Lois getting together. I kind of like the idea of Lois, she's the cynic, Clark, he's kind of the optimist, and these two, they find a happy medium and they get together and it's a happy ending. I kind of like that idea. The small piece of me that is a romantic thinks that that's kind of cute. I think it could work. However, I do think it needs to be built up over a long period of time. Just about every version of Superman that we've seen builds it up over the long period of time. The Lois and Clark TV show, it was like late season 3, early season 4 before these two were really a couple. It took them about 2 years of building these two up before they started seriously being couple-ish. Smallville, it was a good 4 years before Lois and Clark were couples, and I mean after Lois was introduced, because there was a good 3 years of the show where Lois wasn't on it, and then it was a good 4 years after Lois was introduced before these two really started being coupley with each other. And Smallville was a show that I really hated, and even they got it right. So I really feel like Man of Steel should have kind of paced themselves. Let these two get to know each other. Let it be end of movie 2 or even beginning of movie 3 before these two are really a couple. And that may sound very late in the game. Usually these days movies don't last past 3 movies. I can't think of very many instances outside of something like Harry Potter or even James Bond, which James Bond itself doesn't really count because it basically reboots itself every once in a while. But usually if you're going to be dealing with a franchise of movies, the characters are going to get together earlier than movie 3 because there's just not that much movie after movie 3. So you wouldn't have much time to deal with their romantic lives after that. But having said that, I really feel like this movie definitely kind of rushed into it too soon. I didn't think that these two really had anything that even resembled a relationship other than, well, you're hot, I'm hot, why don't we kiss each other and we can be a couple? And unless the second movie kind of addresses that, I definitely think that is going to be a problem from here on out. But that itself is not the missed opportunity. It sort of is the basis of the missed opportunity. A while back, before the movie was even close to coming out, there was an announcement that there was a character who was working at the Daily Planet. Her name was Jenny. She was in the movie. She really didn't have a big part in the movie at all. I think her biggest part was Perry White and Steve Lombard saving her from being under some debris. Other than that, she really didn't have anything to do with this movie. but way before the movie came out, people were theorizing that this girl Jenny was actually the Man of Steel movie version of Jimmy Olsen, and they had taken the character of Jimmy Olsen and turned him into a woman. Turns out it doesn't really seem that they've done that, because this girl Jenny was almost a blink and you miss it kind of character. Like, you really didn't think that she had anything to do with the movie. So I don't think that this girl Jenny is a replacement for Jimmy Olsen. But at one point, there was even a theory that not only was this girl Jenny a Jenny Olsen, but that maybe Jimmy Olsen did still exist in this world, but we now have Jimmy and Jenny, his younger or older sister, who are both working at the Daily Planet. Now, I think that could have been kind of neat. I think it would have been really neat if we had had Clark dating this Jenny girl, or since she didn't have anything to do with the movie, let's say for the missed opportunity purposes of this video, Clark was dating any other woman in the Daily Planet. Let's say Cat Grant was working in the Daily Planet, and you have Clark and her kind of dating for a movie, and then Lois is kind of sort of jealous, and then maybe eventually by the time you get to movie 3, Clark and Lois are finally a thing. This would have satisfied my complaint that you really can't take Clark and Lois and just immediately put them together. You kind of have to build up to it, and it would have been nice to show that Clark doesn't just work with anyone. It kind of has to be the right girl. Now, of course, a lot of this missed opportunity is moot, and I mean that even more so than normal, because Clark ultimately wasn't really part of the Daily Planet staff at all in the Man of Steel movie, except for the last 20 seconds of the movie. I definitely think that this could still apply to the next movie, though. If we get into the next movie, maybe we could have a scene where Clark and Lois are like, hey, maybe we should be just friends. I know we kissed at the end of the alien invasion, but we really don't know anything about each other. We're really not that compatible with each other. And then maybe you could have Clark dating Cat Grant or Jenny Olsen or whoever. And then you could have Lois dating whoever, and then maybe they could both kind of be like, yeah, maybe I should have been with that person. I kind of liked them, but I didn't realize it. Ultimately, as I go through this video, I'm realizing that the relationship between these two is not something that can easily be done in movies at all. Even if you do kind of hold it off until the second or third movie, it's just something that's not very easy to do in such a limited format. I feel like with movies, you kind of have a standalone story that's about 2.5 hours long at most, and then the next story is like 2 years later, and it's another standalone story that's about 2.5 hours long. And this really isn't the medium where you can work with subplots very easily. Not like comic books or TV shows, or even a series of novels. You have some novelists, they'll do a 20-novel series over the course of like 30 years, and they can kind of work with subplots like that a whole lot easier than movies can. Because characters in novels, they're not going to age like actors do. If the novelist wants the characters to age, they can, but even so, they've still got a longer period of time that they can work with these characters than you could if you were dealing with a movie. So, for example, in Lois and Clark, you had 2 seasons that were kind of building up Lois and Clark as a couple. In Smallville, you had 4-ish years of Lois and Clark kind of knowing each other before they became a couple. And then in the Man of Steel comics, it was about 5 or 6 years before they got together. So I really think that the movies are kind of the odd man out in that they really don't have the luxury of waiting and biding their time before they can put these two together. So on the one hand, I can kind of see why they wanted to go ahead and get these two together, because for all they know, they're only dealing with a trilogy, and after this, these actors are not going to want to be these characters anymore. And I can kind of see that they want to have this relationship be a thing on screen. I still think that they kind of rushed into it too much, though. So, what do you guys think? Was this a missed opportunity that you agree with? Do you disagree? If so, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I will be back tomorrow with a different kind of video. So, until then, keep it classy. I'll see you later. Have a good day.